Hi friends, good afternoon, and what a beautiful Friday afternoon it is to talk about Australia. I'm sure you're all eagerly excited and anticipating this wonderful presentation that we have for you. Today's presentation has the most beautiful videos as well, and I'm sure you're going to all enjoy watching them. And you're beyond enjoying watching them, you're going to dream about them the whole weekend. I know this weekend will only be about Australia for you, and I hope this presentation inspires you to send more clients to Australia and to have them enjoy this beautiful destination. Before getting started, I have a few housekeeping announcements. On the top of your screen, there is a reconnect button. So in case you can't hear us, you can't see us, press the reconnect button and you should be able to clearly hear us and see us thereafter. The webinar today also includes a Q&A section, which means we want you to keep asking questions. As many questions as you have, please keep putting them on the chat tab. We will try and take up all the questions towards the end of the webinar. If not, we would request the teams that we have joining us today to come back to you with the responses to your questions. So your questions are important to us. Please keep asking questions. A recording of this webinar will also be shared with you in the next 24 hours. So tomorrow at 12 noon, you'll get an email from us with a full recording of this webinar. So in case you've missed out on anything, please don't panic. Please don't worry. And please don't panic and worry. You will be able to see a complete recording of this webinar. Now, I know you can see some very excited, anticipating, happy faces on my screen. So now I'm not going to stand between you and Australia and introduce to you Darshana Seth, the founder of Polaris Tourism, the India representative for Turtle Down Under. So Darshana, over to you. Please make the most exciting afternoon for us now.
I sure will. Thank you, Devika. And hello, g'day, and a very warm welcome to all our travel partners joining us from India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. Really thrilled and excited for this exciting webinar. It's called Discover Australia, proudly presented by Tourism Australia and brought to you by Turtle Down Under. I'm Darshana Seth, and I'll be your host for the session. I've spent quite a few many years in the tourism industry, and I'm passionate about crafting seamless travel experiences between Australia and India, hence I'm here. And it's fantastic to see so many of you already logged in on time. Feels wonderful. Some very familiar known faces and names. So I'm confident today's session will give you the tools, the inspiration, most importantly, the motivation to promote Australia with confidence. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes to allow a few more participants to join in. While that's happening, I'd like to quickly, while Devika has obviously covered the housekeeping rules and reminders, just some more points that I'd like to cover here is please keep those questions coming in. We need that. We want to make the session really, as interesting as possible. So get those questions because it's a great opportunity for you to prepare and be ready for the next season that's going to come our way. So you can do that in the Q&A or the chat box at any point of time. We will be taking a dedicated Q&A session towards the end of the presentations where the selected questions will be answered. Just to make it more fun, we will be, the best questions will win an Amazon voucher in your local currency. So that's just an added motivation for you to ask us as many questions as possible. Now, most importantly, which obviously Devika's covered, the session is going to be recorded and we will be sending you the recorded version as well as the presentation deck after the webinar. I think we can now begin talking about today's agenda. We've lined up some fantastic speakers for you. So thank you to each one of you who've logged in and are going to address the audience today. So we've got Nishant Kashikar, Team Australia lead, Tourism Australia, who's joined us for the session. We've also got Ushma Patel, Aussie Specialist Program Coordinator from Tourism Australia. And we've got Kunal Ramchandani, Business Head, Turtle Down Under. So they're going to each be presenting and talking about Australia. So each one of the speakers will give you some great insights, valuable tips into what makes Australia a must-visit destination for your clients. Yeah? So please stay tuned. Stay with us right till the end of the presentation. And finally, we've got the Q&A that we're going to cover towards the end. So I think we can just begin with our presentation slides now. What I'm going to cover is straight away into who is Turtle Down Under. What are we? We are basically a tour operator, inbound tour operator, ITO, specializing in groups, series, MICE, and FIT travel into Australia and New Zealand. Turtle Down Under as a brand also has a 24/7 concierge service to look after your clients' needs when they are on ground enjoying their holiday. And we are in touch, or we've got about over 10,000 travel partners affiliated with us that are working with us around South and Southeast Asia. This is just a screen to show you that we're very humbled by the awards and the achievements that we've recently won. Just some of the names of the pictures that we're really proud about. You know, we did win the Best Inbound Tour Operator Australia Award at the India Travel Awards in 2024. Also won the Leading DMC Australia New Zealand Award at the MICE Conference Expo and Awards. And we were conferred by the Partner of the Year Award by Merlin Entertainment. Just something that we really are happy and proud about. A reason why, or rather many reasons why you should be working with Turtle Down Under. Some of the reasons are mentioned here, and I'll quickly go through the next slide, just talking why. But if you see from the screen, we are accredited members of ATEC, Tech NZ, and Qualmark, which is Tourism Australia and Tourism New Zealand's quality checks and certifications. We also have, like I said earlier, 24/7 concierge support. We do have a facility to give you like a same-day quotation. We've got your fixed FIT tour packages. So be it MICE, FIT, GIT, we can cater to all those clientele. There's something which is very interesting, which I'm going to actually cover in the next slide. We also are pretty proficient in the event and travel management space. So we've handled movements like CREDI, the AID, or whenever an Indian dignitary or a minister is traveling to Australia, visiting Australia, we do get a great opportunity to handle the services. So a recent one being Dr. Jayashankar, when he visited Australia, we were the authorized travel partner to handle all his travel arrangements while he was in Australia. Turtle Down Under also is very proud that we cater to certain specials and add-ons. I'm not going to really delve into this a lot, but just to let you know on the screen a quick glance about what all we can really give, combo features and some really great value add-ons that you should be selling it to your clients or rather upselling it to your clients to make his holiday worthwhile. This is something which is very interesting. So if you've got clients who are arriving into Australia, need a bit of meet and greet assistance, and want to have that holiday aspect starting with a wow experience, we do cater to something like that. So if you've got your high-end clientele or a corporate group happening, coming over to Australia, and you want to make the key person feel really warm and welcomed into the country straight away, then we can really do this service for you where they are assisted right from the aircraft door, not after clearing your immigration or customs, but right immediately after he or she steps out of the aircraft. All right, so that was really a quick version and a reason why you must work with Turtle Down Under. And now to kick things off, I'm so excited to introduce Nishant Kashikar, Team Australia Lead at Tourism Australia, who will be joining me to give some opening remarks. Nishant, over to you.
Thank you so much, Darshana. Thanks to you, TDU, and of course, Kunal and Abhishek as well. And I'm really delighted to see the progress that you've made especially in the post-COVID world, to become one of the leading ITOs for Australia. So well done on that front. Also, big thank you to Devika from DDPL and TravTalk for helping us organize this particular webinar. But most importantly, a big thank you to everyone who's joined in on a Friday afternoon. And I assume we not just have agents from India, but we have agents across Southeast Asia, including Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. So it just shows the amount of progress or the remarkable progress that TDU have made, and making a presence felt not just in India, but also across Southeast Asia. So really well done. So I'm not going to take much of your time, but I'm going to let Ushma talk about the destination in detail. What I'm going to do is just give you an executive summary as to why should someone choose Australia, because on this planet you have almost 195 countries, so it's the most competitive industry in that sense. So I'm going to just give you 10 reasons as to why should somebody pick Australia as the next holiday destination, or why should you recommend Australia to your next to your customer. So, but before that, I want you to activate your chat icon and answer the simple question that I'm going to ask you. And the question is, tell us, what is that one or the most important factor that people around the world consider before choosing an international holiday destination? What, according to you, is that single most important factor that people consider before planning an international holiday? All right. You can start typing your answers into the chat box. We've already seen some questions coming in.
Nishant, we'll just give it a few seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, you should get his responses in 30 seconds now.
Great. Service, safety, budget, money, of course, value for money, safety. All right, adventure and unique experiences, safety and budget, experiences and leisure, mostly VFM, that's value for money. Wow. I guess you guys have got it bang on. According to me, and I guess even our research tells us that safety and security plays a very important role even before we, start shortlisting a holiday destination. And it's more so important in today's world because of the geopolitical tensions that we are witnessing across the world. Safety and security becomes a very important factor. And I'm really pleased to say that Australia is one of the most, or rather safest destinations as we speak. And some of the Australian cities feature in the most livable cities in the world. In fact, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, and Brisbane feature in the top 10 or top 15 most livable cities in the world. And as we speak, I guess it's one of the most safest countries that you can promote to your customers. So you got it right. Safety and security is the most important factor that Indians consider. And also the fact that Australians are so welcoming and friendly, that makes your holiday experience even more exciting. Okay, time for the second question. Now, tell us, what is the second most important factor that Indians consider before planning a holiday? The second most important factor according to you, and which is a huge competitive advantage for Australia. Yes, some of you have already got it right. It's in the list that you've already typed. Param's written about easy visa approval also. Yeah, so as Behna's writing about visa and money. Yes, you got it right. I guess the second most important factor, according to us, is the ease of access. How soon and how easily can I get a visa for travel to Australia? Now, amongst all the Western countries, or amongst all the nations that require a visa for travel, I must say that the speed and ease of getting an Australia visa is second to none. And why do I say that? Is because one, there are no biometrics involved. Two, you do not have to go for any personal interviews. Three, the entire process is seamless. It's online. There is no paperwork involved. Four, you save almost 2 full days by not having to visit the nearest embassy or the nearest VFS center for giving your biometric data or any personal interviews. And lastly, you do not have to attach copies of your flight tickets or attach copies of your holiday vouchers, like confirmed, hotel bookings or itineraries along with it. And the decision is made purely on two factors. One, your ability to pay for your holiday. So evidence of funds becomes very important. And the second most important thing is your incentive to return to India. Why would you return, to India after your Australian holiday? So if you tick these two boxes, and provide enough evidence by submitting all these documents online, I'm sure you would soon get a visa to travel to Australia. And most importantly, you get up to a 3-year multiple entry visa if you're traveling for tourism, and you get up to a 5-year multiple entry visa if you're traveling for the purpose of business. Now, the third reason why, or rather reason what people consider before planning a holiday. No one mentioned about that, but the third factor that people usually consider before selecting a destination is also the flight connectivity and ease of reaching a particular country, right? And you'd be pleased to know that there are now direct flights between India and Australia. You can fly from Delhi to Sydney and Melbourne on Air India. You can fly from Mumbai to Melbourne. Those flights would be recommencing from September, October this year. And then there are direct flights from Bangalore to Sydney as well, which Qantas operates. Apart from that, we got Singapore Airlines, Malaysia Airlines, Thai, Cathay, AirAsia, Scoot operating out of multiple cities out of India. And for our friends who've joined in from other parts of, join outside of India, whether it's Philippines or Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, there are direct flights to Australia from these countries as well. So, traveling to Australia is not that difficult. And a lot of people also feel that Australia is quite, far. It's really down under. But if you look at it, it's just 2 hours more than, the flying time is just 2 hours more than flying to Europe or to London. So the direct flight from India to Australia would take around 11.5 hours to 12 hours maximum, which is slightly longer than traveling to Europe. So ease of connectivity, ease of flights, ease of visas make Australia such a favorable destination, and you should think about promoting Australia to your next client, who have the potential to travel to Australia. And the last factor that I think, because as Indians or as South Asians, we tend to travel to a particular country with our families. We have 3 generations traveling together, and the likes and the preferences of every individual who travels, varies. Somebody is fond of nature, somebody is fond of wildlife, somebody likes adventure, somebody would like to relax on a particular holiday. And Australia is one such destination that offers everything for everyone. There's something that is available for every single traveler, for Australia. So what do we have? We have the Great Barrier Reef, which is the only underwater wonder in the world. We have the world's oldest rainforest in Daintree in the state of Queensland. Australia is the adventure capital of the world, whether it's adventure on the ground, underwater, in the sky. Australia's got all of that. We've got a fantastic harbour in Sydney with 2 major icons, the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House that you can see. Australia's got unique wildlife. 80% of Australia's wildlife can only be found in Australia. You cannot see this wildlife in any other part of the world. So kangaroos, koalas, echidnas, wombats, quokkas, all this wildlife can be found only in Australia. It's a great destination to drive along. If you're in India, you drive on the same side as you drive in India, in Australia. An Indian driving license is valid in Australia, and with Google Maps, you can easily navigate all across Australia. Australia has also got one of the world's oldest living cultures, the indigenous Australians, with whom you can interact, and there are various activities that you could participate in. It's got some amazing natural beauty when you visit Australia for that purpose. We've got one of the most fascinating cricket stadiums. So every Indian city, every Australian city has got a stadium that is so well popular in India, and Indians would love to visit those cricket stadiums. And the food and wine that Australia has to offer is again second to none. So I've kind of summarized 10 or 15 reasons why you should think about Australia as a next holiday destination. And I'll let Ushma cover that in more detail. So, ease of visas, great flight connections, safety and security not a concern. Is something that the destination offers for everyone who would like to travel on an international holiday. I guess it ticks all the boxes for you to showcase and present and promote Australia to your clients. So I'll pause there and I'll let Ushma do all the hard work of talking through the details of what every state and territory of Australia has to offer. And I'm sure she'll be happy to answer all your questions. But thank you very much for all your support. Thanks once again to DDPL and for TDU for organizing this webinar.
Thank you so much, Nishant. I think great opening remarks. You emphasized it so well, the unique, the unparalleled experiences that the country has to offer, right? Highlighting the natural beauty. I think the warm and the friendly people, I just love that aspect. Truly, I think they make you feel so much at home. If you ever are in Australia, you love that bit. I think that comes up really strong. The vibrant cities and everything that you just spoke about. Truly, there's still nothing like Australia in this world. I absolutely agree to the tagline. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Nishant.
Thanks,
and now, please help me welcome Ushma, who will take us through a virtual tour of Australia. Ushma, we're all set. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Darshana, and thank you, Nishant, for that amazing opening. I'll just move on. So starting off, I think we've got a really good introduction to the destination, and Nishant has given us, I think, enough reasons and the top reasons why one must visit this country and continent, as we call it. So I'll just jump on to the next slide. So why Australia? When we talk about Australia, I think the letters on the screen pretty much summarize the destination in itself, right from interesting attractions to value for money, ancient culture to unique wildlife, warm and friendly locals, food and drink, aquatic and coastal, safe and secure nature and landscape. So I think as we spoke about how deeply rooted Australia is in terms of ancient and modern culture, along with, embracing the modern culture, it's quite rooted to its indigenous culture as well. When we talk about unique wildlife, right from koalas to kangaroos to Tasmanian devils to platypus, the wildlife is quite unique when we are talking about wildlife in Australia. Warm and friendly locals. For Australia as a destination, language is never a barrier because I think the locals are so warm and friendly. Even somebody who's passing by will wish you like, hello and good day, mate. So it just kind of brings a smile on your face, to interact with the locals over there. Food and drink, I think we all know that Australia is quite popular when it comes to the gourmet and culinary experiences. MasterChef Australia is something which is globally known. We all recognize the chefs, and I think one unique thing is that all these chefs kind of cook up a storm. There are restaurants and cafes. If I talk about Melbourne, how popularly and globally it's known for its coffee culture, right from Sydney having precincts which have cafes and restaurants which are owned by master chefs. In terms of aquatic and coastal, I think as we spoke about the Great Barrier Reef, apart from that, we have all the possible water activities which you can avail of when you are in Australia. Safety and security, we are very proud to say, is of the highest standard when we talk about Australia. So even if I have to give an example, if you are a non-swimmer or somebody who's scared of the water and would like to experience and do a snorkel at the Great Barrier Reef, you will actually have two people who will be assisting you and taking you and making you feel that entire experience. It's that safe and secure if you have to do any activity in Australia. Nature and landscapes, we all know that there are iconic places spread across Australia, right from the Sydney Opera House to the Great Ocean Road. We have iconic places that you can make the most of and visit while you are in Australia. Australia as a destination, I feel we all kind of speak about it during all our training sessions, is that it's an amazing destination for repeat travelers. With the multiple entry visa that you have access to, it's also a destination that people can keep going to until, as far as the visa, they have a valid visa. So I think once you have a first time traveler covering the East Coast, your Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Cairns, a repeat traveler could definitely look at visiting South Australia, Tasmania, Northern Territory, or a Western Australia. Apart from this, talking about markets, there is a lot of you have friends and relatives who stay in Australia, who keep visiting Australia on a yearly or probably on a 6-month basis. So what more can they do when they are visiting their friends and relatives? So if they are in Melbourne, can they be given places to visit in and around Melbourne? If they are in Sydney, can they do Sydney and surrounds? Can they do a train journey if they are in Adelaide, right, from Adelaide up to Alice Springs? So we'll speak about that as well. So these are little unique experiences for people who are visiting their friends and relatives. For people who are FIT and traveling with families, if they have to go back again to the destination, can we give them the West Coast, or can Tasmania or a South Australia can be given for a second time traveler? So as a destination, since it's so massive, you cannot really cover the entire country on your first go. So there is definitely a chance and scope of repeat traveling to a country like Australia. So as we can see, this is a huge country, and even flying within Australia is actually quite a bit if you have to go from east to west or north to south. Australia also has different time zones. So right now on the east coast, it's about 4.5 hours. This is, I'm talking from a very India perspective, and west coast is similar to the Singapore time zone. So they have 2 time zones. So in case if your client has to travel or take a flight from Sydney to Perth, or has to go from Hobart up to Cairns, please keep in mind that the flying time is quite a lot. It's as good as probably taking an international flight from India to Singapore or India to Bangkok. So it's like you need to keep in mind what time the client leaves a particular city and is arriving into the other city. So if they're leaving Sydney and arriving into Perth, keeping in mind that do not arrive at an odd hour. So this slide just represents that within the country also, it's so massive that the flying time can be as good as a short international flight. Talking about types of accommodation, so we have every type of accommodation that you can actually offer to your guests. So right from your hotels, so you have your 5-star global brands that are there in every city. You have boutique accommodation. There are also hostels. There are serviced apartments. We also have luxury lodges of Australia. So every state has a luxury lodge of Australia. These are high-end luxury accommodation option that can be given to the clients. Some of these are really unique, and I think if you have a client who has the budget, luxury lodge is definitely an experience that they can avail of when they are in Australia. Apart from this, since Australia is also known for its very rustic like a rustic nature thing, so they have walking huts and lodges. You will also find eco lodges because Australia is also known for its sustainable programs and sustainability as well. So eco lodges, a farm stay, or a walking hut and lodge are definitely recommended for guests who really want to soak into the very rustic nature or be in the proper hinterland or surroundings of Australia. Moving on and talking about the climate. So Australia right now is in its peak winter time. So during winter, some of the places in Australia also experience snowfall. So you have Mount Buller, which is near Melbourne, about 3.5 hours away from Melbourne. You have the Snowy Mountains in Queensland, in Tasmania as well, in Hobart. You have snowfall right now. So also something called as the Southern Lights, that phenomena also happens during the winter time in Australia. The northern part, as we can see in the slide, has a more tropical climate. So even during the winters, it's not very harsh. It's kind of very pleasant climate. But this something like a Tasmania or a Victoria or Queensland would be slightly colder, colder than the tropical north that we see here in the slide. So here we see Australia is made up of 6 states and 2 territories. So the 2 territories are your Australian Capital Territory, which is Canberra, the capital of the country, and you have the Northern Territory. Apart from this, you have your 6 states, which is Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. All of these have their own capital cities as well. So now that we've got a little gist about how Australia is, what are the distances, what's the climate like, what are the accommodation options that can be given, we now move on and start off with the states. So the first state that we'll be covering is Queensland. What you see here in the picture is the Heart Reef. So the Heart Reef is, as you can see, it's literally in shape of a heart, and it's a beautiful experience. You can take a boat around it, you can fly over in a helicopter over the Heart Reef. So this definitely is a very picturesque and beautiful place to visit. Can we have the video played, please?
Welcome to Queensland, where nature is at its most abundant. A place of ancient wisdom, inspiration, and connection. The Great Barrier Reef, Gondwana rainforest, the world's most ancient cultures. Life began here, and it thrives on, teeming with activity and brilliant colour. Come and discover the epic wonders, the friendly faces, extraordinary wildlife, and incredible new adventures that will change you and the way you see the world. You'll find experiences to inspire a new appreciation of life and our planet, right here in Queensland.
So I have Amit in the chat box saying beautiful. Yes, indeed, it is very beautiful, scenic. And as we saw in the video, it's a mix of everything. You have the city, you have your rainforest, you have your water activities, you have the Great Barrier Reef. And of course, as we can see, it has theme parks as well. Sorry for that. So Brisbane is the capital of Queensland, the video that we just saw. So apart from after Brisbane, we have the most famous city, which is Gold Coast, home to all your theme parks. You have the Daintree Rainforest, and there are a lot of activities that you can do while you are in Brisbane, Gold Coast, Cairns. Apart from this, you also have the Tangalooma Resort located over here at the Moreton Island, where if you can give a 1 or a 2 night stay. You can give a stay to your clients at the Tangalooma, where you see in the picture, see here right on the right hand side top is basically feeding of the wild dolphins that happens every evening. Theme parks is where you have in Gold Coast, you can give all your theme parks that the client wants as per his or her preference. You can also do a climb to the Q1 Sky Deck when you are in Gold Coast. In Brisbane, you can also do the climb of the Story Bridge, and when you are in Cairns, you can do your Great Barrier Reef experiences as well. So key attractions that we discussed in Gold Coast, you have your Sea World, Movie World, Dream World, you have Australian Spectacular Outback. At Moreton Island, you have the Tangalooma Resort. We definitely recommend a 1 or 2 night stay when you are at Tangalooma. Cairns, you have your Great Barrier Reef. There is multiple ways you can experience the Great Barrier Reef. You can either snorkel, you can take a diving session, you can fly over through a helicopter that we saw over the Heart Reef. You can also stay at the Great Barrier Reef. So we have an experience called Lady Musgrave, wherein you stay on the reef and get an overnight experience as well. You have your cruises, which take you to the Great Barrier Reef, and Turtle Down Under can definitely help you with the costing and also what are the schedules that these cruises have in order to experience the Great Barrier Reef. Just a little trivia here, Great Barrier Reef is actually 2,300 kilometers long, so it's quite massive, and as we know, it's also the only livable thing you see from space. Sorry, Kunal, could you mute yourself? Just a lot of noise coming in. Thank you. Hi, Kunal, could you mute yourself, please? Yeah.
Ushma, I think Kunal's now muted. We can go ahead. Ushma, you're not. You're also muted.
Sorry.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. You also have the Kuranda rainforest where you can do your scenic rail, your sky rail, and Kuranda village as well. Moving on, that was Queensland in a gist. You can definitely post your questions if you have any in the chat box, and we'll get back to it later. Moving on to the next state that we have, that is New South Wales. So if you see on the left-hand side of the slide, we are kind of moving from north where you covered the Queensland. We are coming slightly down and we cover New South Wales. The capital city for New South Wales is Sydney, and the picture you see here is quite iconic. So you have your Opera House, you have the Sydney Harbour Bridge, you have Circular Quay from where all your dinner and lunch cruises depart. And this place here, right opposite the Sydney Opera House, is a place called Manly. Could you play the video, please? So that was a very beautiful representation and in a gist what New South Wales is all about. Again, as we see here in the picture, it has iconic places, it has nature, wildlife, activities to do, experiences also, and definitely the vineyards. So if I quickly have to move on, here in Sydney, you have a lot of experiences that you can avail of. So if I go back to the slide, you have the Sydney Opera House tour that you can avail of. You can do the Sydney Bridge climb. You can also take a seaplane ride over the Opera House and the bridge as well. So that's another experience that you can do when you're there. In terms of cruises, you have the Sydney Showboat Cruise, which is a dinner cruise and has Indian food available. Again, your cruise timings, schedule, itinerary, pricing can all be done through TDU because they would be the best people to advise you on that. Apart from this, you can actually take an inside tour of the Opera House as well. So what happens behind the scene is something you can experience if you have that type of guest who's traveling and would want to do something very niche as well. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. The Sydney Bridge climb, you cannot do it on the 31st of December because they have the fireworks that day. So that's the only day it is closed. And also, if you are intoxicated, please keep in mind they do a breath analyzing test. So you cannot do the climb if they find you intoxicated. What we see here in terms of nature, so you have your Blue Mountains, which is about an hour and a half away from Sydney. Definitely can be recommended as a day trip, but if you want somebody who wants to stay for a night, there are accommodation options available, and they can also visit the Jenilyn glowworm caves whilst they are there at the Blue Mountains. You have your whale watching cruises as well that go from, you can avail of that experience as well. You can do your bridge climb. You can also do the oyster chucking experience whilst you're in New South Wales. And you have the Hunter Valley, which is again about an hour and a half away from Sydney. So if you have somebody who wants to experience vineyard, visit a vineyard, do the wine tasting, learn and know the entire process of winemaking, you can definitely recommend Hunter Valley for them with and stay, or you can do a day trip as well. So in Sydney, you obviously have the Merlin Entertainment Pass, which most of the clients who go for the first time avail of. In terms of FIT and GIT, it can be most of the itineraries for GIT also have it as a product. If you want, you can give for your FIT clients a stay at the Taronga Zoo, because it's a very good experience. You have your breakfast place wherein you can see all the animals in the zoo. So if you have somebody who wants to kind of, avail that kind of experience, a night at Taronga Zoo can also be recommended. Blue Mountains, as we discussed, is the story of the three sisters. So when the clients are there, they can do as a day trip or stay there for a night as well. Port Stephens is about 2.5 hours away from Sydney, and you can do all your experiences there in terms of four-wheel drive, sandboarding, dolphin watching. There is a beautiful accommodation option at Port Stephens, which is the koala sanctuary, wherein you can actually stay inside a koala sanctuary. So when you wake up and you have breakfast, or you're just in the property, there will be koalas all around you. When you stay in the property, they also give you a little tour and give you information about all the koalas that are there inside the sanctuary. Hunter Valley, as we discussed, is a vineyard region, so you can do hot air ballooning whilst you're there at Hunter Valley and visit the numerous vineyards that are there and experience the wine tasting and the wine making. And also all these vineyards have really amazing restaurants and cafes which serve really good food. So if you're open to experiencing cuisine, Aussie cuisine, and food, then I think definitely a must do. So now we go a little further down and go to Victoria. The capital city for Victoria is Melbourne, and what we see here in the picture are the 12 Apostles and the Great Ocean Road where you have your drive happening. So we'll just move on and see. Could you play the video, please?
There's something a bit different about Melbourne. More than just a little bit different. Melbourne, every bit different.
I think the moment we speak about Melbourne, we always think about the MCG, the Great Ocean Road, and also, the hot air ballooning in Melbourne. So Melbourne as a city is quite versatile. It's also a city which is very easy to navigate because it has an amazing public transport system. So you have the City Circle tram number 35, which is a free tram which takes you around the city, starts from the morning, goes up till the evening. Also, the surrounds of Melbourne, most of the places like your Yarra Valley, they're about just an hour and a half away, maximum 2 hours from the city. You have Mount Buller, which is 3.5 hours away from the city. So these experiences can actually be availed of when you are stationed in Melbourne, and you can have an itinerary woven for about 5 to 6 nights covering the surroundings of Melbourne as well. You also have the Puffing Billy, which is the train which takes you through the forest with your legs dangling outside. So if you want to feel like a child and enjoy yourself, Puffing Billy is definitely a must-do. Apart from that, you have Phillip Island, where you have the little penguins doing a parade for you every evening. Just to give you an update in terms of the Phillip Island, the sighting of the penguin that happens, they have actually built new lookout points and spaces for more people to accommodate. So now it can actually accommodate more than 400 people at one time to see the penguin adventure that happens every evening. Also, this particular activity, since it's an evening activity, please keep in mind that during winters, it gets dark quite early. So this activity would happen slightly earlier than usual. And during summers, since the sun sets only about 7:38, so this activity would be timed in that particular order. So if you have somebody who's doing an entire day trip from Melbourne, doing your Puffing Billy, Healesville, doing Phillip Island right at the end, this has to be designed in a way that they don't miss out on that experience. So if I have to talk about key attractions, definitely Phillip Island, you have Mornington Peninsula, which has your hot springs. You have also Sovereign or the Ballarat, where you have a very Dutch European experience as well. And you have Yarra Valley. So Phillip Island, definitely a must-do would be your Penguin Parade. You can also visit the Chocolate Factory while you're on your way to the Phillip Island. Yarra Valley, again, is a place where you can do your hot air ballooning over the vineyards. You can visit Cherry Hill orchards. You can also do your Puffing Billy steam rain while you are going on the way to Yarra Valley as well. It has a couple of other places. You have Rainer's Orchard, where you can actually avail of an experience. They take you through the entire orchard, and whichever season you visit in, the fruit that kind of is of that season, you get to pluck that fruit, take it home, eat it, enjoy. And it's about an experience which takes about an hour and a half. So you're walking through the entire orchard and you are actually getting to pluck fruits and have fresh fruits which are organic. So that's another experience that can be given from Melbourne when they're doing a day trip as well. Apart from this, you have Mornington Peninsula, which is home to the thermal hot springs. So as we see in the picture, these are thermal hot springs that are there at Mornington Peninsula. You have accommodation options over here. These thermal springs can be either public or private. So if you have a private one, there'll be a thermal spring just for you to experience and make the most of it for an hour, and then you can have lunch at that particular property and then continue your onward journey. Some of these hot springs or properties might be adult only, so definitely good to check with TDU before going ahead and booking anything, whether they allow kids or not. Ballarat, the Sovereign Hill, is a Dutch town which is near Melbourne. So here you can actually have a very Dutch experience. You can dress up as Dutch people. You can take a carriage ride. You can do gold panning. You can do gold hunting. If you get gold or find gold, you're lucky enough to take it back as well. Ballarat as a town also celebrates Christmas in the month of June, because the actual Christmas is during summertime in Australia. So just to have a winter experience of the Christmas, they have Christmas markets in the first 3 weeks of June, and then they celebrate it on the 25th of June. So that's one experience that can be given as well. Moving on, just to kind of question here, Darshana and Devika, there are questions coming in. So are we taking these later on? Because
Yes, we'll take them later on once you're done with the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we move on to the Australian Capital Territory, that's Canberra. And please, if you could play the video.
Other places promise to take you far away. It's not like that here. Here, you get closer. These paths draw you in. To spaces and places, with room to explore. Ancient and new. The big and the little. All of it designed with purpose. Here in Australia's capital, sharing is what we do. come around anytime.
So Canberra as a capital is
Ushma,
very
Ushma, you're muted. You'll have to unmute yourself, please.
No.
Ushma, we can't seem to hear you. Could you
She was audible
unmute
earlier.
yourself?
Yeah, I had kept my mic. Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay,
you are.
great. Okay. So talking about Canberra, it's quite unique as a capital. I think one of the most unique thing about Canberra is you can actually visit the Parliament House while it is
Yes,
in
perfect.
session. So yeah, okay. While it is in session. So it's kind of a very unique experience to see a Parliament House live in action in another country. So that is one experience which is a must do when you are
Ushma, I think you've muted again. You're muted for some reason.
No, I'm actually, my mic is on my screen. Am I audible? There are people, yeah, you can hear me.
Yes,
Thanks, Kunal.
yes, you're audible to us now. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Kunal. So, I think that's what sorry for the disruption. So one unique thing is that to experience, a parliament session live in another country. Apart from this, another very unique experience I would like to speak about when I'm talking about Canberra is what you see on the slide, the right-hand side corner picture. And the unique experiences, this is the Jamala Wildlife Lodge that they have. As you can see in the picture, your room is literally like, a glass facade away from your wild animal. So the tiger or a lion or you see there is basically like, accompanying you when you're staying there. So from your room, you have the glass facade and you have the wild animals there. Sorry, Darshana, could you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you so much. So this is a very unique accommodation option that can be given to clients when they are in Canberra. Another unique thing is access to Canberra. So from Sydney, it's about only 3 hours away. So it can actually be given as a 2-nighter trip from Sydney. You can then go onwards to Melbourne or you go back to Sydney for your flight back. So some of the experiences that I'll be talking about in Canberra. So one is you're seeing the Parliament House. You can do your hot air ballooning. It also has climate controlled cool vineyards just 30 minutes away from the city. So that's one option. You can experience your vineyards whilst you're in Canberra. And being a capital city, it has the Australia War Memorial, it has the National Gallery, it has the Mint. For kids, it has the Dinosaur Museum, you have the Cockington Green Garden, and you have Corran Forest. Corran Forest is 45 minutes away from the city, and they have actually recreated snow using recycled water. And in that forest, you have all your snow activities, and they take place 365 days in a year. So the entire snow is not covered in snow, but that particular part of the forest, they have this snow machines that they have installed, and they have skiing, you have your alpine rides, you have sledging, all of that taking place all through around the year. Some of the festivals that take place in Canberra. So currently they have the truffle hunting festival, which takes place wherein you actually go hunting for truffle mushrooms with help of a dog who kind of accompanies you, and whatever truffles you find, you can take them home, or you would have like a culinary experience where the chef cooks up something around the truffle mushrooms that you've collected. In September, it also hosts the Floriade Festival, wherein you have your tulips, tulips garden open in Canberra. That's also an experience. It goes on for a month, so you have clients who are there in the month of September. Definitely a must do. So just summarizing your key attractions, you have your National Zoo and Aquarium. In terms of accommodation, apart from the regular branded hotels that you have the Jamala Wildlife Lodge, which is a very, very unique accommodation experience that can be given when guests are in Canberra. You have your museums, so your Australian War Memorial, you have the National Gallery and the National Museum as well. Canberra is also a city that can be promoted for school groups. So this is a market that has been upcoming, where you have school groups, schools taking students into Australia. So Canberra has a lot of attractions and a lot of places which can be visited when you talk about from educational purpose as well. So Q-Stakun that we talk about is similar to what NASA is. You can actually go and see that observatory as well. Moving on, we now move to South Australia. The capital city for South Australia is Adelaide, and I will have a video coming up. Okay, I'll first check if I'm audible or not. I hope I am.
Yes, perfectly audible.
Great. Thank you. So moving on to South Australia, what we see in the video is there's varied experiences again. I think one thing that we proudly say is that every state will have so many experience for you to kind of station yourself at that particular state for probably about, a week or so and experience everything in the capital city and what the state has to offer. So what we saw is a mix of Eyre Peninsula. You have the Darrenburg cube that you see here on the left-hand corner. You have wildlife. You have what we see in the middle on the bottom is your wildlife sanctuary that we'll talk about in the next slide. And you also have Flinders Range where you can do your stargazing as well. So Adelaide is the capital city. From in and around Adelaide, you have Adelaide Hills, which is 30 minutes from the capital city, where you can visit the German town of Handorf. You can do the Beerenberg farm experience, where you do your strawberry and fruit plucking. And you have the Jurleek farm. So Jurleek is a very famous skincare brand, which is an Australian brand. It's really amazing. And Jurleek farm experience is something you have a 1-hour tour where they actually take you through the entire farm and educate you and teach you about how Jurleek products are made. You actually get to see how the production takes place. You get to see what are the ingredients that are used, and all of it are natural ingredients that Jurleek uses. Of course, they have a store on site, so you can also purchase products if you want.